Kansas. Bob Wischusen, Fran Fraschilla. Kansas, as usual, it's a rite of spring. As we approach March Madness, there they are atop the Big 12 standings with that big win on Wednesday night against Baylor, and they have been led by Josh Jackson, who, Fran, is not playing like a freshman anymore.
No, and it's really interesting. He has scored the first basket of the game for Kansas 9 times this year. Be interesting to see if Bill Self goes at him right away.
Monte Morris, Nazmi True-Long, they are a lethal three-point combination along with Matt Thomas. If Iowa State has a chance this afternoon, you'd have to think the triples will need to rain down for the Cyclones.
Well, that's exactly right. What a matchup we have, Bob. Two of the best point guards in the country.
And Jackson fouled on the first offensive possession of the game for KU as Deonte Burton picks up the first foul.
And that's one of the reasons Bill Self likes to go at Jackson, because if he can get Burton out of this game, it saves them a lot of wear and tear. Nice play.
Again, it's the first bucket of the game scored by Josh Jackson.
Exactly. If they don't isolate him in the half court, that time they ran the out-of-bounds play for him. A little flex action.
Thomas from the corner. That's off the mark, so he misses his first two after going 16 of 22 from three over Iowa State's last 3 games. Jackson looking for the game's first 5 points, and that's a brick.
Jackson had made 40% of his threes over the last few games. He's been shooting it much better. Not any inside scoring, Bob, for this Iowa State team, but 4 good perimeter players.
Burton fades away. Tough shot and knocks it down.
He's the X factor because he's a mismatch, even for a guy like Jackson, who's a good defender. Deonte Burton can shoot the 3. He can post you up, and that time you saw him elevate in the mid-range. Remember also, Kansas has the weapon, Landon Lucas, 7 of 9 in that first game in Ames.
Devontae Graham weaves his way through traffic and puts KU back on top. Burton hits a 3. He's got 5 for Iowa State.
This is a guy that's gone for 31 against Oklahoma, 29 and a near miss against Gonzaga.
Swooping layup by Josh Jackson.
Anytime you can get Josh Jackson playing north and south, and Bill Self does that a lot, sets it up. He's hard to guard. I think for Iowa State today, all 4 perimeter guys have to bring their A game in order to win in here.
Shot clock down to 7. Monte Morris to the corner. A 3 on the way. That's off the mark. Over the backboard. Out of bounds off Lucas. Nope, they'll say Merle Holden will pick up a foul as he bumped Landon Lucas. Again, Matt Thomas has been red hot from 3, but now he's 0 for 3 to start in the first.
Talking to him yesterday, he said, I'm feeling fine. I'm able to practice now. Remember today, Iowa State without Darryl Bowie, he's been suspended. One less big body inside.
Push off. Looks like called on Josh Jackson as he tried to seal some space underneath. He looks befuddled by the call from Mike Stewart. True-Long rattles home a 3 and puts Iowa State back on top.
That's important because all of these seniors have been in big games. They've got 2 Big 12 tourney titles. They have to play well.
Devontae Graham can't answer. Offensive rebound, Landon Lucas got hit right across the bridge of the nose and turned it over after he was shaken up. True Long hands it right back to Kansas. And Landon Lucas is replaced by Mitch Lightfoot as he again took one right across the bridge of the nose and looks to be favoring that right eye. Maybe got poked in the eye. All right, Dave Fleming, welcome to Allen Fieldhouse. Nothing like a Saturday afternoon at the Phog. What a finale between Maryland and Purdue. We're hoping for just as good a... Dave Fleming, welcome to Allen Fieldhouse. Nothing like a Saturday afternoon at the Phog. What a finale between Maryland and Purdue. We're hoping for just as good a game here in Lawrence, and Iowa State off to a good start. They've got the 2-point lead. Landon Lucas was just poked in the eye. He's over on the sideline. And
the one thing that's been adjudicated already is Carlton Bragg, and Bill Self has handled that. He's been suspended indefinitely. These other issues we don't know much about. They have to play out, but it's serious, and until it gets cleared up, you know, whether by the university or by the legal system, let's face it, it's a cloud over the team, and they are playing really well at the same time.
Now, these charges are not new in terms of affecting the players' lives. This goes back to 2015 with LaGerald Vick, and much earlier this year with he and Jackson. Here's Jackson for 3. That's off the mark. But it has just become public to the point that now Bill Self needs to handle it with the media and their fans, their alumni, and the whole nation is finding out basically what the Kansas program has known the entire season.
Right, and Bill Self's going to say what he can say right now legally. And as I mentioned, the Carlton Bragg situation is done. He's been suspended indefinitely based on the diversion program, you know, after he went to the court, through the court system. So as these situations are handled one by one, it's going to be interesting for all Kansas fans to see how Bill Self handles them. And I'll say this, after being here 10, 11, 12 years, I don't remember a shorter period of time with as many off-the-court issues that have happened this past week, and you know, I'm anxious to see how it clears itself up.
Monte Morris knocks it out of bounds with 10 to shoot for Kansas, and yet this past week you can't get a better on-the-court week for KU. You go last Saturday in the Big 12 SEC Challenge, in the hallmark game of that challenge, for a win on the road without Carlton Bragg against Kentucky, and then not showing any letdown on Wednesday night as Svi Mikhailuk rises up and knocks down a long 2. You win the number 2 against number 3 matchup against Baylor.
Let's put it in perspective. Last time Kansas has won back-to-back games against the top 5, the 2008 Final Four. So 2 really high-level wins this week. And the freshman Jackson has had a lot to do with that.
Monte Morris looking for a driving lane, finding one, and is able to finish.
Yeah, remember in that first meeting, Morris had 23 points, 7 assists, coming down the home stretch of just an amazing career at Iowa State. 2 of the best guards to play in the Big 12, Mason and Morris, in recent years.
Landon Lucas traveled, bodied up by Solomon Young. Tonight on ESPN, an SEC matchup between 2 of the best in that conference at 8:15 Eastern. It's the primetime game. Kentucky looking to bounce back from the loss to KU, taking on number 24 Florida. And how about the Gators? They have won their last 3 in a row by over 30 points apiece. Let's see if they can keep that streak going at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN, of course, streaming on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN.
All it looks like at Florida is that former athletic director Jeremy Foley hired a duplicate of Billy Donovan and Michael White. Both former point guards, both highly competitive, both really class guys, and Florida right now maybe as undervalued as any good team in the country. And if De'Aaron Fox is not playing or under the weather still, that could be problematic for John Calipari. Haven't gone inside to Lucas yet, who was dominant in that first meeting.
And now LeGerald Vick turns one over. Miscommunication with Devontae Graham.
These two teams, Bob, and it didn't start out that way for Bill Self early in the year, but these two teams probably the best small ball teams in the country. Burton and Jackson are really small forwards who are what I would call mismatch four-men because they're so versatile offensively.
Take away by Mykhailiuk. Here's Frank Mason. Lays one off. Easy finish for Devontae Graham. And we're tied up.
Now you see the speed of Frank Mason turning a turnover into an easy basket. I don't know if there's been a more consistent great player in the country this year than Frank Mason from start to finish.
True long. That's off the mark. Landon Lucas fouled by Solomon Young. Solomon Young in the game because Merle Holden already has 2 fouls. At the other end, defense turns to offense for KU.
Absolutely. The steal by Mykhailiuk. The drop off, Mason and Graham. They play with, you know, a collective competitiveness and a awareness of each other that's always fun to watch.
Turnover by Mason.
Well, they trapped the ball out of his hands and he turned it over.
Monte Morris off to Jackson. Strokes a triple.
Boy, this guy's been red hot, Jackson. Double figures in 4 of his last 6 games. The JUCO transfer. Playing off the ball, and Morris found him.
Mason scoops and scores.
Smart move by Morris. Once Mason got by him, Morris let him go so he didn't pick up a cheap foul. You can give up the basket, but you can't give up the foul if you're Monte Morris because you have to stay on the floor today.
The top 10 finalists for the Cousy Award, the top point guard in college basketball released, and we've got 2 of them matching up in Morris against Mason today. There's Morris in the corner. Another rebound for Landon Lucas. Mykhailiuk knocks down a 3 off the feed from Mason. Mid-range jumper, banks home for Deonte Burton. If you don't think that was on purpose, by the way, the shoot-around last night, he was working on angle after angle, shot after shot, always, it seems, in that mid-range involving the backboard.
What makes him so hard to guard?
Mason, the C's part. And he'll go to the free throw line when we come back. Well, we talked about Svi Mykhailiuk. Can you font Svi Mykhailiuk? Can you spell it? Can Fran spell it? We're going to find out when we come back. I'm not confident.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66.
Just so you know, even if I did take Russian in high school and college.
By the way, there's more to the Jayhawk spelling bee of you and Vanya going head-to-head. Check out ESPN.com. We're going to try and post the entire Jayhawk spelling bee there. And maybe we'll get a Fran Fraschilla bicycle bell ringing screw up at some point. I don't know. You were pretty good.
Being with Vanya for that period of time, my SAT score went up 50 points, just so you know. You know, I was watching TV last night. The Portland Trailblazers were on against the Mavericks. Yogi Ferrell, undrafted, signed by the Mavericks to a 10-day, had 30-something last night. 8 threes, and all I can think about is this guy right here, Frank Mason. and as to whether he'll play in the NBA. And my answer is he will. Speed, strength, quickness, competitiveness, and the ability to stretch a defense with his shot. Don't know where he'll get drafted, but he is a really good college basketball player.
Takeaway by Graham.
Watch the speed.
Mason. And one.
One player, Bob, has dominated the first 10 minutes, and it's a guy who's in contention for National Player of the Year. And the thing that stands out early in this game is just the extraordinary speed in the open court.
Frank Mason right now averaging 19.9 points per game, which is #1 in the Big 12, just a shade below 20 per game. No player in the history of the conference has ever averaged over 20 points, over 5 assists per game. Right now, Mason's at 19.9 points, 5.2 assists. So he basically hits a scoring average the rest of the year. It's a chance to make conference history.
The amazing thing is shooting over 50% from three-point, and the sample size is pretty impressive.
Donovan Jackson bumps on the way to the goal. And if that's against Josh Jackson, that will be his second. No, it looks like LeGerald Vick picked up his first. NBA Saturday Primetime continues tonight on ABC. NBA Countdown kicks off at 8 Eastern, followed by the Cavs and the Knicks at the Garden at 8:30. The biggest games of the season are on ABC every Saturday night.
Nice.
Trying to throw it down was Merle Holden. And a foul called.
Holden gave Iowa State good minutes in that game in Ames. After not playing a number of games, take a look, the effort. If you're Iowa State, Bob, the one thing you must do today is you must stay close and keep Kansas out of those 8-0, 10-0 runs.
Foul called on Mitch Lightfoot, his second. And the front court thin, to say the least. Merle Holden picked up 2 fouls earlier, so he's back in the game with 2 for Steve Prohm, who's trying to, every game it seems, massage his way through a thin front court. And without Carlton Bragg, Udoka Azubuike, of course, injured to start the season, basically, for Kansas. And they've got Landon Lucas, and then whatever Mitch Lightfoot and Dwight Colby can give Bill Self in a reserve capacity.
That's exactly right. And Colby actually played well at Kansas, at Kentucky, and then followed it up with 6.6 rebounds.
Although Josh Jackson has looked so comfortable as this season has gone on, playing that tough matchup stretch 4, they don't really seem to be out of character in spite of the fact they only have Landon Lucas as a consistent big body.
You know, this is the best offensive team Bill Self has had. Think about that. In 14 years, they're averaging, you know, in the mid-80s. And if you're a basketball player, if you're a forward, if you're a really good college player, the best position besides the point guard spot is to be a mobile or stretch or small ball 4-man like Jackson. He'll be an NBA wing player, but he's perfectly suited for this spot in college because he gets to do everything.
2 seconds on the shot clock. Mykhailiuk double clutches and threw it over the top of the backboard. So a good defensive stand that time that was begun by a block of Holden on Josh Jackson. And it's a shot clock violation for Bill Self's team.
I saw a terrific freshman the other night, Tom Izzo's freshman Miles Bridges, who's also playing the 4. He'll be an NBA small forward. And it's the same principle. They're both so skilled at the offensive end. They can hurt a defense in so many ways.
Shot clock under 10 for the Cyclones. Ryler Babb leans in. That's off the mark. Landon Lucas already with 6 rebounds. Jackson crosses over, off balance. Tip follow is good.
That's not your typical power forward, to my point. He gets the outlet, puts it on the floor, and then has the athleticism to quick jump to tip in. And a lot of kids would say, hey, coach, why are you playing me out of position? But it fits him perfectly with this Kansas team.
Holden fumbled a roll to the goal, and Monte Morris with a frustrated look for his senior big man.
Now take a look, Bob. This is what we're talking about. He's going to contest a shot right there. And then on a rebound, he's taken off and running the lane like a wing player. Gets to the rim, and then he uses his athleticism right here to quick jump to get the tip in. Now, Monte Morris was a little peeved at Merrill Holden, who's got to catch that ball because he had a layup, and that's kind of my point, where you don't want to give Kansas these run-outs. You got to convert the easy ones.
Mykhailiuk, soft touch.
He's gotten better at that. No longer just a jump shooter. He's having a really good junior year.
Burton hits a three as Landon Lucas dared him to shoot it. He's already in double figures here in the first half. That's a big shot for Iowa State, as KU had opened up their largest lead at 7.
But they have a huge mismatch inside right now.
And Lucas seals inside.
Yep.
And the foul is called on Burton.
That's a double-edged sword for Steve Prohm.
Check that. Matt Thomas got him on the wrist. That's his first.
See that, Bob? Double-edged sword, because Burton can take Lucas away from the basket. Kansas comes right back, and where does Bill Self go? Right inside.
Iowa State already over the foul limit, but Burton can hurt you from outside.
Well, and he's a tough matchup. See, Lucas knows if he gets up on him, he's going to be driven by. But then smart offense by Bill Self. He goes right back at Lucas. And we remember in Ames how dominant Landon Lucas was that night inside.
Burton's got half of the points for Iowa State. Landon Lucas, as I said, already with 6 rebounds here in the first half. In Big 12 play, he's #1 in the league. He's averaging over 11 rebounds a game in conference play. Such a heavy load falls on his shoulders without Azubuike and without Brad.
And he knows his role. Early in the year, he was looking to score a little bit more. But he's gotten back to where he does what he does really well and stays within himself. They're going to run Thomas along the baseline in this offense.
Thomas drives it, hits the underside of the backboard, challenged by Mykhailiuk. Devontae Graham finds Lightfoot. Jackson to Mykhailiuk. He's got another three. 10 for Mykhailiuk, and Kansas opening up their largest lead at 9.
Essence of small ball last couple possessions.
Big shot from Monte Morris. Lightfoot running the floor. Shuffled his feet. Iowa State with the basketball when we come back, but Kansas, they've got a 7-point lead. And Fran Fraschilla here at Allen Fieldhouse. And Fran, in spite of the fact that neither Carolina or Duke is ranked in the top 10, both are obviously a threat to win the national championship if they can get healthy. And I don't think there is someone in your shoes, one of those, kind of prognosticators looking at March Madness that doesn't look expert, yes.
Expert, you could say that.
That doesn't look at Carolina as being a team that might be, in spite of the fact they're not even in the top 10, about as complete a team as there is in America, as Morris has a chance for a 3-point play here.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're getting Pinson back, who's been a key part of their team, but they've got size inside. They've got really good guard play in Joel Berry. Justin Jackson's one of the most improved, really good players in the country. Some of the losses have been a little head-scratching, but I saw them in December. And when you think of the fact that in the last 11 years, only 2 national champions have had a one-and-done guy on their roster, Carolina is one of those veteran teams like they were a year ago that I think can get to the Final Four.
What about the impacts of Coach K getting back on the bench for Duke?
I think it's huge. They started to hit their stride the last couple of games under Jeff Capel. And I think the fact that he's back has been really helping. He needs a little practice, That's why he's back today.
Landon Lucas, beautiful pick and roll as Frank Mason found a window. And Kansas on top by 6.
We've seen Frank Mason impact this game today on offense and defense. Perfect example of reading pick and roll.
Burton, that's off the mark. Landon Lucas by himself has 7 rebounds. Iowa State as a team has 1 rebound.
Yeah, and they're not sending anybody to the offensive glass, in part because they need to get back in transition, and they don't think they're going to be able to match with Lucas. It's a waste of energy.
Gerald Vick down the baseline.
Iowa State has to play so cautious defensively, A, because of fatigue, and B, because of foul trouble. And that time Vick was able to get all the way to the 10 unimpeded.
Mitru Long throws one that Jackson is able to corral. Jackson drives it. Foul call on the Gerald Vick.
Yeah, you take a look right here, a little scramble situation. Take a look at the gamble, ball's loose, and nobody protecting the rim. You see, Vick is able to get there unimpeded. No rim presence, obviously, because they're so small. And it's tough, Bob, because they lost an All-American who's in the NBA now. And unfortunately, Georges Niang is nearly impossible to replace. And then you throw out Jameel McKay, who was a rim protector. And this is a shell of the team that went to the Sweet 16 a year ago.
And it is a rebuilding project for Steve Prohm to a certain extent when you lose talent like that at Iowa State, right?
It's going to be an incredible rebuilding project next year. This is the 5th most experienced team in the country, and they start 5 seniors. Especially in a league that's going to be even better next year.
Vick leans in, blocked by Burton, goaltending.
This is the most important part of the game for Iowa State right now. Down 8, 5 minutes to go in a half. Kansas capable of going on big runs. They got to be smart offensively, execute, make some shots, stay in this game till halftime.
Monte Morris to the corner to Thomas. Short. He's missed his first 4 from outside. Devontae Graham knocks down another 3 for Kansas. 7 for Graham. We'll come back in 30 seconds to Allen Fieldhouse, where they're loving their Jayhawks. Iowa State's probably lucky to only be down 11.
Yeah, I agree. Kansas has 20 points in the paint, which you wouldn't realize based on the way they're knocking down some of those 3 balls. But they're operating on all cylinders right now.
Burton floats back to the foul line. That's a little too strong.
I know Jackson's supposed to be a good defender, but that's not a good matchup with Mason, in my opinion.
Graham again from the corner. That's only the 2nd rebound of the game for Donovan Jackson, and wipe it away. He committed a foul. Iowa State, 16 minutes into the game, has 1 rebound.
Well,
that's almost impossible.
Well, you would expect them to have nothing on the offensive glass, and because Kansas is shooting 71%, Bob, aren't a lot of misses out there. Boy, on the basketball court, what a week it's been for this team, Kansas. To win in Rupp Arena last Saturday night, and then to come home in that thriller against Baylor, who I think showed people they're for real. And a terrific game in here on Wednesday.
Mitru Long on the drive. Gets it to go.
And Graham chased him off the 3-point line, and good recognition by Mitru Long.
Mason will drive. And connect again.
That's what you call finishing, Bob, because he shot that over a 6'5" player, and he used his body to shield his shooting motion.
True Long has a three.
This guy's made so many big shots in his career. And has Mitru Long part of 2 Big 12 tourney titles, 2 Sweet 16s.
Mikhailuk looking for three. He knocks it down. 13 in the first half for Mikhailuk.
How about the way the ball's been spread around today?
Solomon Young. Rebound number 8 in the first half for Landon Lucas, but turned it over. Mitru Long. Nice shot fake. Weiler Babb on the offensive glass. The second rebound of the game for Iowa State is a terrific putback by Weiler Babb.
And he's the younger brother of Chris Babb, who was an outstanding player for Fred Hoiberg, played in the NBA a little bit, now starring in Germany. He's a transfer from Arkansas. Doesn't shoot a lot of threes, but a high-energy wing player.
Five to shoot. Devontae Graham from the corner. Air ball. Mitru Long is looking for Weiler Babb. It hit the underside of the backboard.
Well, he had Morris in the corner, but he couldn't see him.
Interesting matchup here with Deonte Burton out on Frank Mason. What does he do?
Mason knows it, too.
Mason shaking and baking, and he's fouled by Deonte Burton. So when we come back, Frank Mason will shoot free throws. It is tough to rival the atmosphere in Allen Fieldhouse on a Saturday afternoon. And made it to Lawrence.
All the way from Cranford, New Jersey?
All the way from, well, you have to come to Allen Fieldhouse. It's a bucket list place to go see in person.
I know the reason you brought him. Because they don't see many wins during the NFL season.
That's really no reason to go there. Not sure why you had to say that. As a Jet fan yourself, you're supposed to be empathetic.
I am empathetic.
I also like how you did the best that you could to deflect any attention away from any attempt at spelling Joe Lual-Acuil.
I can do that.
Go. Let's see it.
J-O-L-U-A-L-A-C-U-I-L.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Keep waiting. I've got the bicycle ding you're wrong sound effect set to go from the National Spelling Bee. We haven't been able to use it yet.
Probably will not be able to, Bob.
Foul away from the ball. And it looks like that's going to go against Frank Mason. That's his first. And that will put Iowa State in the bonus. So Solomon Young will go to the free throw line. You talked about how important this 5-minute, now down to 1 minute and 12-second stretch is for Iowa State. Down by 13, just trying to get it to single digits at halftime.
That would be ideal, really. You know, you can make some free throws here, get a stop, get another basket. Maybe if you get fortunate, hit a three, be down 8. It's a lot better situation, even psychologically, to go into the locker room in single figures.
Only 1 of 2 for Young.
Well, this Kansas team, Bob, averaging about 84 points a game, and it would be the highest scoring team Bill Self has had here. And it's all because of the way they've gone to the small lineup.
Little zone here from Iowa State, so Lightfoot in the high post, 8 to shoot. Lucas sets a screen for Graham. Mason left alone.
Let me tell you, when he misses an open shot, you're surprised.
.14 in the first half for Mason. Weiler Babb. Extra pass to Morris. Big shot for Monte Morris, answering the 3 from Mason, and a timeout called by Bill Self.
Well, this was good ball movement versus the zone. Lightfoot threw it to Lucas on the baseline. Then they had to go ball screen, skip pass, and Bob, over 50% behind the arc in the year. And then watch this, Monte Morris, who's also knocking down a career 38% behind the arc. Little tit for tat.
Now back to the three by Mason. You saw Mitru Long doing the best that he could to close out on Mason. Is that a defensive mistake, though, to ever leave Frank Mason anywhere by himself outside the arc?
You got to be aware of him, especially because he operated on the weak side of the floor. You have to assume a good team is going to get it that way. But guess what? If you close out too hard, you know what he does? He just drives by you. I'll tell you, when you think of the great point guards in Kansas history, you obviously, you know, Kevin Pritchard, Darnell Valentine, Heinrich, Miles, Sharon Collins. I don't know if he's in the top 5, but he's in the discussion, especially for his senior year.
Mason drives it, gives it up to Lucas, and throws it down. And that will end the half with an exclamation point for the Jayhawks.
Can't play much better offensively than Kansas played in the first half, Bob.
70% from the field in the first half for KU, 19 of 27. Time for the Alfa Romeo halftime report. Adnan Burt, LaFonso Ellis, and Sean Farnham back in the studio. Guys?
All right, Bob, Franny, thank you very much. It is indeed the Alfa Romeo halftime report. Good spelling, by the way, to Fraschilla. Cannot stop him.
The effort, 52-38, the score at halftime set for the start of the second half. Bob Wischusen alongside Fran Fraschilla. Every game for KU that we've done this year, we've talked about Frank Mason and how he continues to add to his credentials, and legit credentials, of possibly being the National Player of the Year. He played like that in the first half.
If you wanted to put this first half on his resume reel for National Player of the Year, it would be fine with me, because he basically dominated the game, Bob. 14 points, 5 assists. We saw the outstanding speed in the open court, finishing at the rim. The ability to, let's take a look, catch here like a wide receiver, get down the floor. He's slicing and dicing the defense, putting the pick and roll, kicking out for threes, finishing at the rim over size. And then, of course, the one thing he's done extremely well all year is make over 50% of his threes.
2 of the top 10 finalists for the Cousy Award going head-to-head. And Monte Morris with 10 points, 3 assists, no turnovers in the first half, but needs help from his teammates, especially on the glass. Only 3 rebounds in the entirety of the first half for the Cyclones. And part of the reason, only 3 rebounds, they only had a certain number of opportunities to get a rebound, as Kansas shot 70% in the first 20 minutes. And a foul called to start off the second half. Landon Lucas with the drive, or Jackson with the drive. Landon Lucas had an opportunity at a putback, and that foul will go against Merle Holden. That's his 3rd.
You remember the late, great Abe Lemons, who coached at Oklahoma City and University of Texas? He would have said, when he looked at that box score in the Iowa State locker room, guys, you got 3 more rebounds than a dead man. Because I can't remember the last time I did a game where a team had only 3 rebounds in a half.
That's the first miss at the free throw line as well for Kansas. They were 9 for 9 in the first half, and they came into this afternoon as a team the worst free throw shooting team in the Big 12. And right on cue, Landon Lucas misses a couple. If Iowa State's going to get back in the game in the second half, what has to happen?
First of all, they got to keep Kansas out of transition and stop them, Bob, because KU's got 52 points. And then, as I said at the beginning of the game, they need all 4 of their senior scorers to play well, and that's not a good start right there.
Mason saves it right to Burton, who gets an easy 2.
I think all 4 of the seniors who've been around for 4 years have got to elevate their game. The only one with 2 fouls is Burton, so defensively they need to buckle down and not worry about foul trouble in depth.
Thomas creates the turnover as it's out off Mikhailuk.
And a good start for the Cyclones, especially if they can convert here. Bill Self's not going to be happy with the fact that you have a big lead at the half. You're up 14. You get off to a slow start. Don't want to let Iowa State back in this game if you're Kansas.
Mutru Long, in and out. Mikhailuk comes up short. Here's a chance in transition for Thomas. Sets up Mutru Long.
And I think Naz has got to shoot that ball.
Burton will try one, and he'll hit a three.
Yep, I think you just got to throw caution to the wind. This team is capable of putting quick points on the board, but it has to start at this end for the Cyclones. Not going to win a shooting match in here.
Jackson, no. Offensive rebound, Lucas. Mason in the corner.
When he misses that shot, you're shocked. That's how good he's been this season.
Monte Morris swoops in looking for his own miss, and a foul will be called against Kansas underneath as Holden comes away holding the bridge of his nose, and Landon Lucas picks up the foul.
Well, Monte Morris, who right now is going to be the all-time career leader in the NCAA in assist-to-turnover ratio. You saw him drop that dime right there.
Mutru Long hands one off to Monte Morris, who connects. Jackson rolls it off the rim. Burton has it taken away by Jackson, and Holden gives the foul. And that's his fourth.
And I thought Jackson got away with one and ripped that ball out of Burton's hands. Looked like he got fouled, Burton, and that's not good. That is a major problem for Iowa State, that fourth foul.
That's going to force Solomon Young back in the game. He's only a freshman from Sacramento. As you mentioned, Darrell Bowie, a much more steadying presence as the grad transfer from Northern Illinois, a fifth-year senior, not in today's game, suspended for Iowa State, so thins out their front court. Now 4 fouls on Holden, thins it out even more. Burton. How about the English off the window as he almost lost it to Jackson?
Now, he's capable of getting 20, 25 and a half, but here's where he's going to get hurt inside.
Landon Lucas lost it. Foul call on Lucas. That's his second. A chance for Iowa State to get it back to single digits again. Mutru Long from the corner. Mason off to Mikhailuk. Traveling called, and Bill Self can't believe it.
Well, that looked like the old Boston Celtics on that break. That ball, rebound, kick out. Bill Self not happy with the travel. I think it's 3 steps. I mean, look, he's gotten away with it once already this year. Come on, give me a break.
On a game winner against the team they're going to play on Monday night. We head out to Manhattan.
Kansas players do travel, folks. Let me just tell you.
Monte Morris couldn't hit.
Give me a break.
Here comes Josh Jackson. Mikhailuk, the trailer.
He traveled there.
Along 2. That's in and out.
I'm not trying to get on Svi Mikhailuk, but he just shoveled his feet. Give me a break.
Weiler Babb, or rather Mutru Long, off balance lays it in. And Iowa State has it back to single digits again.
Now, the thing about Kansas is they've been rattled a little early, but they can come right back, execute their offense, and stretch this lead out again.
You can't leave Frank Mason alone, and they do it again. 20 in the game for Mason.
If you want a resume reel for National Player of the Year, this first 25 minutes is the one Frank Mason wants to show the voters.
Burton finds Mitru Long. Fouled on the drive.
Well, we know Iowa State can heat up, Bob. Nazmi Trulong getting to the rim, scoring, but the story today, so far, the 11th.
It is a Sonic blockbuster doubleheader on Thursday night. North Carolina Duke, the first meeting between those two teams this season. And, of course, a chance to watch Lonzo Ball, as he has been terrific as well. UCLA, how good do you think that team can be as we move through this season?
Well, offensively, they're as good as anybody. Their defense has to be better for them to go really, let's say, to the Final Four. But Lonzo Ball is must-watch TV. I don't care if they're playing Washington State or Arizona State on a given night during the season. I'm watching UCLA right now because of how good Lonzo Ball is.
Burton with another three. And Iowa State is hanging in there, much because Deonte Burton not only hasn't missed from three, but he's got 20 points for the 7th time this season.
And the key for him now is to just stay out of foul trouble. He's got 2. Look at that hustle.
Burton jumped the passing lane at first, and Monte Morris was there to help on the steal.
It's been since 2005 that the Cyclones have won in here. It was a Saturday afternoon.
Burton, heat check. Landon Lucas with his 13th rebound, but gives it away. Monte Morris finds Mitru Long.
Wow.
Lucas with another rebound. And this time the outlet is there for Mason.
Good challenge by Lucas.
Devontae Graham. Ripped out of bounds, and that will be off Burton.
Good opportunity for Iowa State to cut the lead to 6, and Landon Lucas sealed the rim off. Yeah, I was here that day, Bob. 2005, Curtis Stinson, Will Blaylock, Jared Holman came in here and won. It's only been 12 years ago.
LeGerald Vick, way short. Well, coming up on ESPN later on tonight, it is a primetime SEC matchup between two of the best in the SEC. Number 8 Kentucky, off that loss to Kansas this week, will take on Florida. The Gators have won each of their last 3 games by over 30, and they want to keep a streak alive at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN.
Big possession here for Iowa State, just creeping back into it.
Thomas, he's 0 for 5 from 3. Graham lost it. Mikhailuk at midcourt, somehow saved it. And here's Mason in the corner. Sets up Vick. Back tap to Vick.
Terrific tip out by Lucas.
Mason in the corner. Stays perfect from three-point line.
Tell you what, right now he's got my vote because we've watched him all year, but Frank Mason, I don't think he's played any better than this. Maybe against Indiana, maybe Duke early.
Burton finds Thomas cutting, and now Mitru Long. Line drive goes down. And boy, every time you think that Kansas may have delivered a big knockout blow, Iowa State hits a shot, and they're still within single digits.
Well, they're capable. All 4 of these seniors can make shots.
Mikhailuk, short, gets his own miss.
Well, that's where the damage is being done. If it's not Mason, it's been the work inside on the glass today.
Monte Morris looks a little tired, although he'll drive it here and get fouled on the way to the bucket on the floor by Mason.
I want you to watch this, Bob. Watch Mason. He's got the 3 right there. He doesn't take it. Comes back out. Ball's tipped around. And look who's wide open in the corner. I mean, Aren't you surprised when he misses?
Well, when you're shooting over 53% from three for the season, and obviously some of those are going to be contested when he doesn't have a hand in his face. I mean, he is lethal. Morris, old school runner.
I tell you, he's really been solid. And you know, if Iowa State was having a better season, much in the way they have the last 3 years, we'd be talking really about Monte Morris. He's had a really good senior year.
Devontae Graham blocked at the rim by Burton. Weiler-Babb tries to go coast to coast. Takes a hard foul from Mykhailiuk, but a clean one, and that will put Weiler-Babb at the line. Haven't been many game-changing plays made at the rim by Iowa State. Deonte Burton just made one. Athletic 25's got 4 players from the Big 12. 3 of those 4 players in this game.
Absolutely. If you know, for me, as of a week or two ago, it was Josh Hart from Villanova, Frank Mason, and Lonzo Ball from UCLA. He's transformed the UCLA program, but I haven't seen anybody in person this year play better than we've seen Frank Mason play today. And by the way, to your point earlier, at this point, he's right now the only player in Big 12 history to be averaging 20 points and 5 assists. He has 23 already.
Which brings his average right back up exactly to 20. As Jackson went backdoor but couldn't handle the alley-oop. Morris for 3. Yes! It's a 4-point game with 11 and a half minutes to go.
You don't expect them to go away because of the experience. Monte Morris says to Frank Mason, yeah, you're an All-American, but me too.
Has gotten a win here in Lawrence, but Fran, they do 2 things. They don't turn it over. Monte Morris especially never turns the ball over. They've only got 8 total today, and they shoot the 3 so well as a team that they never seem to be out of a game.
Well, that's right. And if their defense stays as stingy as it has the first 8 minutes, they're going to be in this game. But we know Kansas can be explosive.
Graham, step back 2. There's a rebound for Deonte Burton.
Burton nearly traveled. He wanted to outlet that ball. Almost got caught in between. I really like, look at that open shot right there. Good execution.
Morris can't hit it.
Really like Weiler-Babb. He's what I call a no-mistake guy. There's a lob.
LeGerald Vick got caught under the backboard. Crowd thought he got pushed, and it's out of bounds off KU. Well, Iowa State has been in exactly this position many times this year. They have 8 losses on the season. 5 of those 8 losses are to ranked teams by only an average of 4.4 points in those 5 losses.
Exactly, Bob. And if you're a Cyclone fan and they win the games they're supposed to be over the next 3 or 4 weeks, they're going to be in the NCAA tournament in part because of the schedule they've played. But nothing would be a better feather in their cap or their resume than to come in here and win.
Especially after losing at Hilton to this Kansas team as one of those 5 losses. Burton. Blocked. Taken away by Mason.
Yeah, and that was ill-advised by Burton. And a good defensive job that time by Jackson. Didn't let him breathe.
Mykhailiuk. Too strong. Fresh shot clock for the Jayhawks. Mason wastes no time. Morris tries to go coast to coast the other way.
Steve Prohm orchestrating the offense now from the sideline.
Mitru Long for 3. Got it.
He's been there before.
It's a 1-possession game as Mitru Long has 4 of the 11 threes that Iowa State has knocked down.
Remember, Naz missed last season with hip surgery, so he didn't get a chance to finish his career with George Niang, but he's been terrific. So has Burton, the versatile scorer. Morris has been Morris. How about Monte Morris? Right now, he doesn't have a turnover, and he's played over 80 games in his career with 1 or no turnovers in a game. And Bob, you're right. When you don't turn it over, it gives you extra possessions. And they're utilizing them quite well in the first 11 minutes.
Azmi Trulong is number 4 in the Big 12 this season, averaging about 2.5 threes per game. He's knocked down 4. Really, the only offensive weapon that Iowa State is without right now is Matt Thomas. Thomas was unconscious from 3 over the last 3 games, making 16 of 22 coming in. But he's 0 for 5 and is losing some minutes to Weiler Babb, who's been active.
He's been solid. I mentioned Weiler Babb. He's a transfer from Arkansas out of Arlington, Texas. And when I say no mistake guy, what I mean is he doesn't try to do things he's not capable of. He's smart. He doesn't turn it over, and he's a good defender. And coach trusts him out there right now.
Jackson for 3. Got it.
Well, you can see the confidence. Josh Jackson early in the year, teams backed off of him, dared him to shoot, but the last 4 or 5, he's been able to make teams pay. Trying to get long along the baseline.
Trulong over Mikhailuk.
Yep.
Wow.
You know, it's really a shame that Iowa State doesn't have more depth inside. Because these 4 perimeter players, and then today Jackson and Weiler Babb helping them out. Backdoor, nice.
Lajero Vick off the feet from Jackson.
Bill Self is so smart because when a team is trying to come back, they're going to get out and creep into the passing lane. And that time Jackson was baited, the JUCO transfer, left with his shorts on the ground.
Shot clock winding down to 7. Morris splits a double team. Lost it, found it again. Jackson in the corner. That's short. Offensive rebound. Solomon Young.
Nice job by Young to get it out.
On the drive with the reverse, Donovan Jackson.
Well, you know what he did? He used the rim perfectly. The rim became jail for Jackson's ability to try to get to that. He put him in jail.
Mason, short, foul call. Frank Mason to shoot free throws when we come back as Weiler Babb picks up his first.
Yep, watch the backdoor cut. They got Jackson leaning, but give Jackson credit. He comes back, little guy to the rim, over the shot blocker in jail. Mason has played today. He's been perfect offensively.
And stays perfect.
Well, this is the best I've seen Frank Mason play this year, and that is saying something.
That was the graphics jinx, by the way. You notice I didn't say anything.
Exactly.
4-point lead.
No need to force it if you're Iowa State. Morris should get you a good shot.
Shot clock under 10.
I don't think he needs a screen.
Crosses over on Mikhailuk to the corner to Burton.
How about
Knocks
that?
down a 3 off the feed from Monte Morris, and it's a 1-point game with 7 minutes to go.
You know what's smart, Barb? If there was a ball screen, it would have brought a second defender, but because it was Mikhailuk, Morris said, I can get by him on my own.
Foul called on Solomon Young, trying to stay with Landon Lucas. That's Young's third.
Take a look now. Once he knows that he's got Mikhailuk, clock running down, he said, I can get by him and bring the second defender to me, and that's what opened up the open shot for Burton in the corner. Really well done. He is a offensive maestro when it comes to running a team.
Tough pass from Jackson. He was looking for Lucas on a cut. That's an ill-advised pass from Josh Jackson, and a chance for Iowa State to take the lead.
Yes!
And they do. It's Burton again.
Holy smokes! That was like, don't do this. Oh, man. Oh.
The last time Iowa State led 12:15 to go in the first half. They were on top 13-12. Trailing by as many as 15, and now they've got the lead.
My thought is get it to Morris, and he pulls up. Well, this is how Deonte Burton is. He's like a thermometer. You don't know if it's going to be hot or cold, but he's had many nights like this year. At Oklahoma, against Gonzaga, and he's capable, and wow, that's not a shot I would have advised.
Well, we said at the start, is there any conceivable way that Iowa State could win this game?
They've been here before. Long, Morris. They're doing it without Thomas right now, who's been stretching out that foot that he's struggled with. You got Solomon Young out there, the freshman. Jackson, the junior college transfer. Kansas has been tested in here this year. K-State, Texas Tech, Baylor, always find a way to win.
Jackson inside. Blocked, taken away by Solomon Young.
Well, they set it up to throw the ball over the top. Well done. I want that ball back in Morris's hands.
He gives it up quickly.
He's running the baseline right now.
8 on the shot clock.
Now Mitru Long's going to take Mekhi Luke.
Steps back for 3. Got it! Iowa State has outscored Kansas 40-21 in the second half.
And that time the defense was pretty good. And then Mitru Long just hit an incredible shot.
Mason will go back to the line.
Take a look now. He can't get by Svi, so he's got to step back. Can't ask for any more from Mekhi Luke, but what a shot.
Monte Morris was called for his first foul, and they say that foul occurred on the floor.
A lot of switching out top, trying to keep the ball in front.
Jackson plus the foul.
What did we say early in the game, Bob? Bill Self wants to get Jackson going downhill. There's the switch. And see, sometimes you can switch yourself into a mismatch. And there's an example right there. No way the little guy can stay in front of the big Jackson.
Yeah, Donovan Jackson at 6'2", 175. Helpless to stop Josh Jackson. Burton, a little too strong. Monte Morris keeps it alive.
I'd be comfortable if I were Iowa State with the ball in Monte's hands. They got the mismatch again. Can he exploit?
They'll try a 3. That's no good. Jackson the rebound.
Good D by Svi. Kept him in front. Challenged.
Mason fouled on a reach-in. That foul on Mitru Long. Michael Smith and Jamel Hill want you to join them. It's the new 6 o'clock Sports Center on ESPN. The party starts Monday. And as always, the 6 is available streaming live on the ESPN app. And watch ESPN. Over the limit now, Iowa State, so it's a 1-on-1 for Frank Mason. And you can see Kansas with 16 fouls as well, out of fouls to give. So free throws for both sides the rest of the way. Allen Fieldhouse, tie game, 4.5 to go. Is this any fun?
Where else would you rather be on a Saturday afternoon? Mason's guarding Mitru Long. Tells you the respect they have for him.
Shot clock at 7. Burton off the mark, out of bounds, and it's off Young.
Watch Lucas Mason now. High pick and roll.
Lucas, tough catch. Good hands by Burton. Mitru Long sets up Morris. Takes the contact. And he will shoot free throws as Jackson snuffed out the shot, but got him with the body. Monte Morris shooting free throws for the lead when we come back.
I'd never miss an early morning market, but with my back pain, I couldn't sleep or get up in time. Then I
in the cards, but one of those home losses, and there's so few of them, you can fit them on one graphic.
Yes.
One of those is back in 2005 to Iowa State. Can this group of Cyclones pull it off this afternoon? Well, they've got the lead and the ball with 3:43 to go after Solomon Young rebounds the free throw miss.
Jackson's handling it, but I want Morris to have the ball. And they're running him along the baseline.
Burton, wild shot. A run out for Frank Mason.
Watch out.
Crosses over. Got it!
Well, that was a bad shot by Burton that just led to the run out because 5 Crimson jerseys were in the paint. And when you get Mason in the open court, pretty much it's lights out.
31, a new career high for Frank Mason.
Mason's been bulldogging Mitru Long. Obviously, Matt Thomas is hurt because we haven't seen him back in the second half very much.
Burton needs help. Shot clock down to 6. Poked away by Jackson. Josh Jackson can't throw it down, but a foul call. And he hit the deck hard. Let's see if Josh Jackson is okay. He almost brought the house down.
Well, there's the turnover. Ill-advised shot first, and then the turnover. They couldn't get it to Morris. And then Josh Jackson, we said he impacts the game on both ends, and there was a good example right there.
He took an elbow right on the side of the head. Only a 55% free throw shooter.
Of all the great freshmen in the country, Bob, the most competitive, in my opinion, is the guy at the foul line. Now, if you're Iowa State, you've got to know where Landon Lucas is. And right now, if I were Morris, I would pinch down on him and double team him and leave the shooter to Jackson.
Good wall off by Solomon Young. 2 misses at the line for Jackson.
Well, they got the mismatch they want, at least in their opinion.
Burton for the lead. And a foul call. And it looks like they'll call this against Landon Lucas. That's his 3rd.
Young hadn't been to the line much this year, about a 60% shooter.
Lucas used that right arm to try and wall off Solomon Young. And Young fought his way through contact. Now he's at the line, trying to tie the game. Misses the front end of the 1-and-1. 16 rebounds for Landon Lucas.
You're Iowa State right now. Just stay solid. Keep that ball from getting to the paint. Force a shot, rebound it. but the ball's going to be in Mason's hands. Watch the pick and roll.
Mykhailiuk for three.
You got to get it back. See, I don't think they'll be able to. They got to get it back to Monte Morris. Got to have it back in Morris's hands.
Steve Prohm wants a timeout.
Yep.
For exactly that reason. Monte Morris couldn't get the basketball from Donovan Jackson.
Out of Morris's hands, which means look for some switching. Graham's going to start on him. Got to get it in his hands.
And they do.
Just
quickly gives it up, though. 7 to shoot. Donovan Jackson lost it. Young has it. Mitru Long. Shot clock winding down. They'll say shot clock violation.
Listen, I'm not coaching, but I want the ball in Morris's hands and nobody else in that situation. He is the best playmaking guard in the country. No offense to Donovan Jackson, but the ball has to be in Morris's hands.
Lucas, double teamed. Mitru Long the rebound.
You got a big three here. Mitru Long, Burton, Morris. Jackson can make the open one.
Morris for three. Knocks it down. Iowa State's got the lead with a minute to go.
That's what he does, Bob. He's a big-time player.
Mason fouled. And it's Burton that fouled him on the way to the goal.
Take a look. They kind of get confused. Usually that's an easy screen, but the switch. But look how far back Jackson is. Too late. And then Frank Mason, he's as good as anybody in the country at throwing his body into the defender and picking up the 2 free throws.
And now Burton has to be careful. That's his 4th. So if this game goes to overtime, they need him on the floor.
This is interesting because if it's tied, I doubt you'll see Iowa State go 2 for 1 here. If they were to, they would have to shoot it by 40 to get the second possession.
Mason does tie. Josh Jackson doing whatever he can to keep the ball away from Monte Morris, but now he's got it.
I'm comfortable in pick and roll here with Morris and let him operate.
Morris, floater, off the rim. Burton tried to keep it alive. Mykhailiuk's got it. Does Kansas use their last timeout? And Bill Self tells Svi Mykhailiuk, yes, call the timeout with just under 20 seconds to go. You talked about the fact you wanted Monte Morris to have the basketball in some of these crucible moments. Is there any chance after this timeout that the ball is in anyone's hands other than Frank Mason for KU?
It's interesting because what Bill Self can do right here, and Mason's had a fabulous day, is he can play for a mismatch because Iowa State's going to switch all those ball screens. But I think given the way Mason has been so good today and the way he gets himself fouled, it would surprise me if it's not in his hands down the stretch, Bob. One of the reasons you don't want it in Jackson's hands is if he gets fouled, he's a poor foul shooter. And Mason is a better driver than Devontae Graham. If you're Iowa State, you have to be concerned about the drive to the basket and the offensive rebound on the backside. So all 5 Crimson jerseys have got to get into the painted area. If there's a missed shot and Iowa State gets the ball back, if it's over 5 seconds, they should not call timeout. Under 5, timeout. Mitru Long on Mason.
15 seconds to go. Mason will dribble it down. Now goes to work. 6 seconds to go.
They fake the ball screen.
Mason off balance. A little too strong. Good if it goes from Mitru Long, way short. And it's overtime here at Allen Fieldhouse. We will step aside for 30 seconds and come right back. Iowa State comes from 15 down to force overtime here in Lawrence.
These seats aren't just for watching the game. They're for participating in it.
Is it's just that much longer you have to wait to get some Bill Walton quality time? But that is coming up next as we've got 5 minutes to go. We start overtime. This is a good look, you'd have to say, for Frank Mason to try and beat the buzzer.
Yep, well, what's happened already is that Lucas came up to ball screen, but he cut it off early. It's what we call an invisible screen. You couldn't see it on the highlight. And Mason just couldn't get by Mitru Long.
And that was his first miss from the field. It's hard to believe. He is 9 for 10 from the field now as Frank Mason. 9 for 9 before what could have easily been a game-winning shot. And now you worry about foul trouble as well a bit if you're Iowa State, because Deonte Burton has 4 fouls. No player with more than 3 for Kansas.
Got to put the clock back at 5 instead of 4:59.
Which they do.
Burton's guarding Jackson. Be interesting to see if Bill Self will go at Burton with those 4 fouls.
Graham, a little too strong. Another rebound for Landon Lucas.
How good is Lucas? A little nudge in the back, just not enough to call it. He's so smart.
Jackson lost it. Lucas with the back tap to Mason. Mason straight away. His first miss from 3. Mykhailiuk an offensive rebound. Graham in and out.
Kansas held the ball for 50 seconds on that possession. Now Mitru Long has been quiet because of Mason's defense.
Five seconds to shoot. Mitru Long, they have to force one up. Shot clock violation.
Well, I want the ball in Mitru Long's hands. You see Matt Thomas, who's not played much in the second half. He's been struggling with bone spurs. Obviously, he re-injured it today. But if I'm going to lose this game, I want the ball in the All-American point guard's hands.
Burton jumped over the top looking for a steal. And forced that pass out of bounds, so it's a KU turnover. That is their 20th turnover. That's a season high.
Well, they keep switching out top. Let's see if Burton can do some damage.
He's got a size advantage on Graham. Rises up. Doesn't get the roll. The tip follow. Eventually corralled by Mason.
Boy, Mason came in there like a bulldog. That ball was up for grabs.
Jackson drives it right at Burton, who stripped it away.
Well, if you told Steve Prohm he was going to play a 3-minute game to win in Allen Fieldhouse, he would have taken it.
Morris over the top of Mykhailiuk gives Iowa State the overtime lead.
Win or lose, that's who has to have the ball. He's done this for 4 years.
Luke on the drive with the left hand. No. Lucas tried to keep it alive. Rebound in traffic by Solomon Young.
Steve Prohm's got 2 timeouts and possession of the ball.
Burton knocks down a straightaway triple. 5-point lead for Iowa State. And Kansas will spend their final timeout here. 17 made threes now for the Cyclones.
I'm not James Naismith, but I want Monte Morris, and I want Burton to have
Fieldhouse, but head back to February 2nd, 2013 against Oklahoma State.
And great guard play, right? Markel Brown, Marcus Smart among the heroes that night. Phil Forte with the icing on the cake. And they came here and won, and Marcus Smart celebrated as only he could do. That riled the crowd a little bit. There's Morris. And then Deonte Burton. How good have they been?
They have combined for 52 of Iowa State's points, and 17 made threes, by the way, for Iowa State. Ties a single-game record that they set back in February of 2013 against Kansas. So they know they have to knock down triples to beat KU.
Well, somewhere Freddie Hoiberg is smiling, because this team had become a three-point shooting team under him. Look at that.
Luke ends up with the ball deflected by Burton. He'll drive it and finish. Burton, tough shot. Long rebound to Devontae Graham. Fouled by Mitru Long. That's the third on Mitru Long.
That's one of those shots that you, as a coach, you go, oh no, but he's made so many of them today. One thing Kansas has really done is they haven't allowed Iowa State to get many of those second shot opportunities. They've been really good on the defensive glass.
Devontae Graham hasn't scored a point since the first half.
I mentioned this earlier, Bob, but offensive rebounding. Watch Jackson and Lucas. They're going to wedge their way in if it's missed.
Monte Morris, too strong. 18 rebounds for Landon Lucas.
See if they get Lucas inside.
Jackson goes at Mitru Long and is fouled. So Josh Jackson only 55% at the free throw line this season. Will try and tie it. That's 4 on Mitru Long. Kansas has won 54 consecutive home games, 51 of those games here at Allen Fieldhouse. Still a 1-point lead for Iowa State.
For Iowa State, you got to use some clock, and Steve Prohm's going to use one of those timeouts. Okay.
So 47 seconds to go. And even on that last possession, where Monte Morris ended up curling along the baseline and getting a wide open look, it was Donovan Jackson that had the basketball up top. It wasn't in Monte Morris's hands. Coming out of this timeout, where are you going? Is it just in Morris's hands and he runs the show?
Yeah, the problem is for Iowa State, when they put it in his hands, they're static. Everybody's standing still, which allows Kansas to lock in on him with 3 defenders. If it were me coming out of this timeout, get it into Morris's hands, fake motion, cut, move, to create a driving lane for him and try to station Naz Long on the same side, where if you help, you got the kick out 3. The other thing you have, and you got to roll the dice with this guy, is Deonte Burton is the best player on the Cyclone team who can create a shot for himself. They must get a good shot, Bob, and not turn it over, because even if they miss, they're going to play the final possession of the game with the lead.
It seems like they have been most successful when they have run a play for Morris and they've been able to get him isolated on a switch, most often with Mikhailuk, sometimes with Jackson.
Yeah.
Are you trying to dictate that if you're Steve Prohm?
You can, but the problem is at times with Iowa State, there's a lot of static. They stand in one spot, so you got to, we call it false motion. Move to help, and then see if you can let Morris create.
This time they get Jackson caught on Morris.
Not a good matchup because Jackson can defend.
10 to shoot. Morris drives it at him. Slips it to the corner. Donovan Jackson knocks down a 3.
How about Monte Morris?
Just to make sure it was a 3. Mike Stewart at the monitor. And what a big call this is. So 2-possession game if it's not a 3.
Keep your eye on Jackson. He's going to go to the corner, and that's what we call a drive and drift. They sucked in the white shirts, and smart by Jackson. In the NBA, we call it the hammer play. Start the shooter out top, move him to the corner, and what a drive and pass by Monte Morris.
Is it a 2-possession game or a 1-possession game? That's what they're looking at right now at the monitor to see whether or not Donovan Jackson may have had a toe on the line, or was that indeed a 3? But boy, Iowa State has been really good in overtime.
Well, Bob, you know, we've said it. The guys that are on this court, you know, I'll tell you, you got to give Young and Jackson a lot of credit because they have really kept their composure. You would expect the other 3. Are they going to count it as 3?
No, they're actually backing it up to a 2.
Okay, now if you're Kansas, you don't need to shoot a contested 3. If you can get to the rim and get the easy 2, you take it.
Tough to tell from that angle, but the officials saw an angle that told them Jackson's toe was on the line. No, now they have changed it. It is a 3. Well, some confusion at the scorer's table, so it is a 2-possession game.
Oh, good defense.
Graham for 3. In and out. Jackson's got it. Mikhailuk. Off to Graham, tries again. This one he's got. 10 seconds to go. Morris is fouled. And Landon Lucas crashes into Darren George, sends him over the scorer's table.
It's going to be a 1-and-1, not 2. Watch the swing of the ball. Good job by Svi. Graham knocks it down. Bob, this is a 1-and-1.
That was team foul number 9. So Monte Morris, who shoots 80%.
Well, now you have 3 different scenarios. Kansas is either going to be down 1, down 2, or down 3. If they're down 3, I think that Iowa State is going to foul before Kansas can shoot the...
Monte Morris is 2 of 3 at the line today. It's a 2-point lead.
I would take Solomon Young off the line right now, but they're going to leave him on there.
Morris got them both. Does Kansas State, or rather does Iowa State foul Kansas before they can get a look at 3?
They're not going to.
Mikhailuk for the tie. Short. The rebound to Burton. Does that do it? Mike Stewart says the game's not over yet. Iowa State set to celebrate an overtime win. And they're going to go to the monitor to make sure that there should not still be maybe a few tenths of a second on the clock.
I didn't see them call a foul, but maybe they called a foul. If they called a foul, let's listen. Boy, I think it was .1 or 0.
Which all but ends the game. If you've got less than 3/10 of a second to go, there's no scenario where Kansas can even catch and shoot. Plus, it would be Iowa State at the other end, up 3, shooting free throws.
Well, let's coach it, okay? If there's .1, you take the ball and you throw it towards midcourt and don't foul, just make sure somebody touches it. If it's 0, it's moot and the streak is over.
Iowa State down by 15. Closing moments of the first half. They played a near flawless second half and have earned, it looks like, a win here in overtime. And they will say that does it. The game is over, and Iowa State has come from 15 down before halftime to deliver Kansas's first home loss in the last 55 tries.
The interesting thing for me, if you're an Iowa State fan, you're back in the NCAA picture. This win will go a long way in March. We talked about the tough schedule. What a gut check today to come in here and get this job done.
What a game it was, and what a win for the Cyclones. 92-89.